You see, our brain is not designed to make you happy. Your brain is designed as a survival mechanism to keep you safe and protect you, to prevent threats from occurring in your life and to avoid them at all costs, for the dangers of life. And that's what has been incredibly useful for us to survive as a species up until this point. But you got to realize the purpose of your mind and your brain is for survival, not for happiness. And so therefore, it's your job to direct your mind on what is going to make you happy. And I've often used the metaphor that your mind is like a sentry on a ship, right? The sentry on the ship, the job is to look out and watch out for things that are potential threats. So your mind, the sentry, is going to be like, oh, look out for this, look out for that. Be careful. You know, it's going to always warn you of these things. It's like an over-worried mother. You listen to it too much, it's going to drive you crazy. But you got to remind yourself that you are the captain of the ship, that you direct. It's great that your brain and your mind is providing this useful information for you, but if it's not relevant, you don't need to listen to it. You've got to direct your mind instead on what you want and what you want to be and experience. And meditation, I think, is incredibly valuable because you learn how to calm your mind, how to make it calm. All that thoughts that you have, those aren't really your thoughts. They're not unique, they're not original. They're thoughts that come from your lower self most often, but we also have a higher self, our best self. And when you understand those thoughts, they don't serve or empower you, that you don't have to listen to them, that they're not who you are, you don't have to associate with it. You can learn how to detach yourself from it. That's what you learn through meditation, is how to observe and not attach to these thoughts that you might have, just to allow them to pass. The moment that you experience the anger, the frustration, you're annoyed, you're driving in your car, the person in front of you is driving too slow, which is just based on your preference. They have the right to drive at whatever pace they want. They're driving the speed limit right. But the only reason why you're upset is you've created a rule and a belief that has to happen the way you want it to happen, and it's not, so you feel angry and upset. When that happens, or any equivalent of that, you're creating a rock, a block in the river, in the flow, that's going to prevent you from experiencing the happiness and joy. First, when those things have happened, be aware of it. You have to learn to observe your thoughts, observe the mind. Okay, I've shared this before, how the mind is a protective mechanism. It's all about survival. It's always going to look out for threats and dangers. It's always going to look for what's wrong or what's missing. That's the natural default state. It's not there to make you happy. It's not there to make you successful. It's just trying to keep you safe and protect you. So it's always going to point out things that are wrong, that are negative, that are threats, that are dangers. And you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of how the mind is working. And when it creates these thoughts and beliefs that are not empowering for you, you have to learn how to distance yourself in your mind, to be the watcher, to be the observer of your thoughts, to not attach to them, to not identify with your thoughts, to have non-judgment, non-attachment, which is a very Buddhist philosophy and way of thinking. But when you can do that and you don't cling on, you don't resist, then these thoughts, these events just pass by in your life. That most often when we're upset, when we're hurt, when we're angry, it's often only because we have expectations and beliefs and preferences that aren't being met, right? And most often, we create these rules, and expectations that, these preferences, that the only way that we get to experience happiness and joy is this. All these things have to happen the way that we want it to happen, but sure enough, what are the chances that everything in life is gonna happen the way that you want, right? When they do happen the way you want, you feel great, you feel happy, you feel amazing in your life, but most of the time, things are not gonna happen the way you want them to happen. So learning how to let go and surrender to life in the moment and not create attachment to all these events and experiences is key. That's number one. But number two is letting go all of these blocks and the baggage that we have that's preventing us from experiencing what's already within us. That abundance of love, that abundance of joy and happiness. We are so abundant and blessed right now, but all you got to do is focus on it. And at the beginning, if you've been living in depression, if that's been your habit, guess what? You built the habit and the pattern of focusing on what's missing in your life, what's not gonna work. All the negative stuff, and you've got to overwrite it. Guess what? When you overwrite it with this, it is gonna be hard, it's gonna be challenging, you're not used to it. Your brain is gonna say this is all bullshit. It's gonna find ways to get you back to your comfort zone of who you used to be, because it doesn't want to change. Change is stepping into the unknown. Your brain is afraid of that, and that's why you have to push yourself no matter what. You've got to make it a habit and ritual, and if you do it for 30 days, you'll start to see the benefits and feel the benefits of this, of a happier life. As most of our thoughts, they're thoughts that come from the past or in the future, and they take us away from the present moment. The present moment is all we have, right? It's here, it's right now. And our thoughts, past or future, we've got to remind ourselves that we don't have control over that yet. That hasn't happened yet. That right here in the now is the most important thing. And so meditation helps you be more present, helps you be in the moment more often. And in the moment, you can experience happiness and joy. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, Stefan, my unhappiness is my drive, it's my motivation, right? It's what pushes me every day by believing that to be successful, that's gonna make me happy. Well, that might be a motivator for you, but it's not sustainable. It's not lasting. In fact, I'd actually challenge you on this and help you understand instead. You see, you're right now achieving to be happy. What if instead you happily achieved? I would actually challenge you to say that if you're happy right now every day, you're much more likely to become successful and achieve your goals versus when you're unhappy and you're using that as drive to achieve your goals. See, successful people aren't happy. Happy people are successful.